Alrighty. So, I'm pretty tired from today. I got everything accomplished that I needed to accomplish. I got all of the articles written, and most recently I just got through looking. But let's start. I think I already talked about I finished up Time, and it was a letter to my children that I had to get through. In the Quiet. And then where's the trust? It's not in here, but I also found that I can search on this stuff. Where's the... Oh, because I did volume 83. Interesting. Sometimes I do that with numbers. All right. Well, I'm pretty exhausted from getting through this writing. So in the back of each of the magazines, I write a letter to my kids. One thing that I thought was interesting in this one is I didn't know where to go, so I just started writing. I went on a jog. Was trying to think through it. Nothing was coming, and so I just ended up going with it. And so throughout it, I kind of was just talking about how first, I love them, and then I talk about being vulnerable. But this other part was just I was talking about up here, I'm writing to my kids, but not my kids today. I see them today, and I just know that they're not gonna look at this or know this. They'll be in their 20s or 30s when they actually read this. And it's different to have an audience of your future children that you're trying to write to, of the moment that they're kind of coming in and reading it. But it's more of recognizing who they are today is who they will be. They're just good people that I love to be around, and that's just gonna kind of personify throughout their life. But I like this one part that I was saying is that I'm writing it now for a future them. When they read it, it'll be the first time reading this stuff from me, and at that time I'll either be old or dead. I said I may not be living, but I said I have this moment to affect you all these years later. Life is magical that way. And that's, I guess, the part that I wanted to talk about, that I just resonated, that line, the fact that I can write things now and have it impact people long after I'm gone. It's so magical. It's incredible. The ability and power that we have as creators, as individuals. So now it's in there. I have it correctly. So I wrote, I think this was just kind of, I think it was originally supposed to be short. I mean, it is shorter than the other ones because this poem actually goes in the side. So it's this stuff. But I talk about in the quiet. This was a hard one for me. I even write about that in here. I feel my attempts to express the magnitude of this lesson are inadequate. I keep falling short, so I was trying to write about in the quiet is where success happens. We see all the noise and all the people on stages and the lights and people getting awards, but those awards are shadows of the actual achievements that happened in the moment when they were creating the thing or doing the work. That's where the achievements happen. And whether or not you receive the accolades in your lifetime is irrelevant, to some extent, is my perspective. It's the act of doing the work is the reward. And I don't know if I effectively like got that across, but I think the most powerful part is it can appear one must shout and demand attention to be heard and gain success. Don't be fooled by the bravado and noise. Success happens in the quiet. Most of your greatest moments and highest achievements will happen in intimate solitude. And then I kind of like break down all these moments in my life that were meaningful, that it was just me alone, quietly. And I think it kind of stems from an idea of interviews with people and that were millionaires, and they talk about the reality. You think it's like champagne and all this stuff, popping champagne when you make $1 million, but it was just like, a lot of them talk about it was just like another day. They're just like, oh, hey, we just made $1 million, and they go back to doing the work. And it was just like them and a partner, having this and like then celebrating and then like being around it. But a lot of these moments just happen in the quiet. And I quote from another part in here that said, everything happens internally before it ever happens externally. From another magazine, but it's one of the quotes that I have that I just think is very relevant, that everything happens in your quiet and before it's ever like externalized and vocalized. I don't know if that's the proper word, but become vocal about that topic. Anyways, moving on. Wrote that one. And then, the last one that I was just working on that I just finished was looking. And this is about, this whole year has been about like looking, and I kind of break it down into, these 3 pieces, and arguably these 2 are kind of sub categories of this one. It was really like looking inward and like closing the chapter of my life, the divorce and separation, and last magazine I talk about, like that was like finalizing that. And then this next year, past year, volume 38 that I'm working on, has all been about kind of looking and looking forward, looking for love, but the big thing is like looking inward. And I talk about in the welcome, I brought this up too, of trying to find these invisible walls that were holding me back. Was the sense as I was starting year 38 of my life, I was ready to progress, but I felt things holding me that I couldn't identify, and I was figuring out how to make myself aware of them. I talk about in here an experience that I have of doing hypnotherapy, and it was this very specific exercise guidance that I was led through, where they're talking about meeting my younger self. And I, at this time, they're just like, hold younger you, because they're scared and sad and all these things. And I said, actually, younger me was comforting me, adult me. And it made me aware of a trauma that had happened when I found out I was going to be a dad. And I hate to use the word trauma, because I feel like it's associated with like negative things. And it was just a moment in my life when I felt I had to put away, quote unquote, childish things. And childish things being like pursuing sports in college. Like I have to get a job, and I have to support a family, and I have to, be the man and take care of, like, raise this kid, and became very serious. And, this other side of me I had to put away. And that's what, like, the other side was like the artist, the creative, the designer in me. I put that away because and to me at that time it was like that couldn't provide for a family, um, and yeah, so I had to work through, and I had forgotten about it until I had had this moment where younger me was actually holding me and saying, "Hey, I got this. Like I can provide for us." Because in my mind, I had the narrative that an artist I couldn't survive off of my art. I couldn't demand that of it because it can't provide for me. And this was a moment where I realized um, how much assurance that core me, that creative side of me, that younger me just really knew myself. And the more that I kind of lean into that and allow that part of me to lead and lift, the greater my future will be, and my ability to kind of create the life that I'm really wanting to live. And it was a really powerful moment. And like I said, it brought up this moment that I didn't even realize at the time what was happening, but it helped me in follow-up kind of therapy sessions to kind of work through and heal on a level that really helps me moving forward. And because of that, of all that work, I talk about looking for love and not really looking for a person, but really stepping back and understanding what I'm looking for in a romantic relationship and partnership. And a bigger thing, like one of my friends keeps talking about, is being able to make space for that love to come into my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, in all senses. Being able to have that enter, there needs to be a preparation. And so this year was really big on getting prepared for that. And then looking forward, and this idea that I really see a time when stuff that I'm doing will catch and become interesting, and yeah, just this journey of always kind of like looking at operating in, projects that are kind of like moving me forward into this next phase of myself, next phase of my life, next season, next cycle, next rhythm. So got through all those things. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to try and get through the other articles. So I have 3 more articles. These are the harder ones because of the features, and so it's integrating conversations with people, with interviews, and we'll see where that goes. But today was very successful. Got my stretch goal of getting all the articles done. There's a part of me that just wants to like bring these in and just design the things that I've done, and I might do that tomorrow. If not, I hope to get to that. What's today? Tuesday? Then hopefully Thursday I can start getting to the design, and yeah. That's my thinking right now, but I'm ready to call it a day, go relax for a minute, go to sleep, and get up and do it again tomorrow. So, all right.